Hello, hello. I am Rohini from Live Wire Media. We do corporate videography and video marketing. Now, if you've been following me for a while, you know I love to do tips and tricks videos to help you guys to get ahead in your marketing game. In this video, we're going to be talking all about how to create an effective marketing budget, even if you have no budget, and what are the kind of things that you need to consider. So, one of the first things to have a think about when you're creating your marketing budget is to treat it like an investment and not a cost. There's a certain mentality that we have when we look at things at a cost, we're looking at it from an emotional and illogical point of view. Whereas if you treat it like an investment is something that's actually going to help you get your return on your investment, whereas the cost is something that you're not going to get back. So treat your marketing budget like an investment. Do your research as well and look into what the potential return on your investment is going to be in your marketing activities. Now, people tend to think of return on their investment specifically to digital marketing in terms of how much am I going to get in return? How much money am I going to get in return? Start looking at it not only from a financial point of view, but start looking at your return on your investment in terms of how much potential engagement you're going to get, how much reach you're going to get, how many potential leads you're going to get as well, and how much more exposure you're going to get as well. Because chances are, if your return on your investment is higher engagement, higher reach, higher exposure, and higher leads, that's going to exponentially help you to get a bigger financial return on your investment. Now, when you start working with a marketing agency like ourselves or marketing consultancy, they should be able to kind of give you the averages for each of those particular sort of sectors based on your budget. Also, your marketing strategy needs to be a massively integrated part of your overall business growth strategy. Quite often, I find that marketing is an afterthought for a lot of businesses, and yet those same businesses, they want to grow. Marketing is a really, really great way when it's done right. It can really effectively leverage your time. The best businesses that I know, like the most successful ones, they actually have a successful marketing team doing that work for them so they can focus on growing other aspects of their business. It's about working smarter and not necessarily harder. So when you're creating your marketing budget, think about how it's going to be integrated into your overall business growth strategy. And I'm going to be touching on that a little bit more later on in this particular live video as well. The other things to consider are look at your operational costs. How much does it cost you to do every single task within your business? So for some businesses, it's a little bit more easy to work this out than for others. So if you're sitting there thinking, well, I work for myself, I don't have any operational costs. Think about the amount of time that it takes you to do every single individual task. Now, if you're a larger business, think about how much every single task costs you. Then that's your operational costs. So once you've got a really good understanding of what your operational costs actually are, you can kind of work backwards from there and define how much of a budget you can actually afford for your marketing spend. Now, when you start doing your marketing, or when your marketing agency starts doing your marketing, always, always, always measure, track, and adjust. What I mean by that is track what is working and what isn't working. Start small and then build it from there. A common mistake that I see is people not knowing what their numbers are, what the data is. Data will reveal so much. Data never lies. So, for example, if you're spending £500 a month on ads, how much of that is getting you your return on investment? How much of the ad spend is turning into leads for you? How many of those leads are turning into actual customers? You need to be making sure that you're tracking every single step of the process, because that way you're going to get a much more bigger insight as to what is working and what isn't working, and you're going to save so much money as well. Now that brings me to my next point as well. If you know that you're going to be using digital ads as part of your marketing campaign, and this is specific to digital ads, by the way, not marketing in general, start with a small ad spend and then build it from there. So again, if you know that you've got, say, £500 a month to spend on, say, Facebook ads, use, say, £200 of that and then build it from there, because that way, if something doesn't work, you're not going to lose out on all of your ad spend straight away. I see this mistake quite a lot within new clients that I tend to work with. They say to me, like, I literally had a client the other day say to me, Rahini, I really want to start doing this because I spent £500 a month a few months ago on ads on Facebook, and I didn't get any leads. And when I've gone in to look at their numbers, their data, and the back end of their Facebook business page, nothing was optimized. So had she had come to me beforehand, I would have been able to advise her on what to do and what not to do. So again, just to summarize that point, start with a small ad budget and then build it from there. The purpose of advertising in terms of marketing and your ads and your budget is to ultimately have it kind of self-serving itself, if that makes sense. So you make £5 and then you can get that £5 back, and then you can just keep reinvesting the ad spend. Next tip as well is set aside your marketing budget based on your business goals. Quite often I see, again, marketing as an afterthought for business leaders. It needs to be very much integrated. So have a look at the objectives for your business over the next 6 months. Have a look at them again for a year. What are your overall business goals? Then once you've worked out what that is, then you can say, actually, I want to use my marketing to help me to get to that point. Again, your marketing agency or your marketing consultant will be able to define that for you or help you define that for you. And then my last tip as well is understand that good marketing will help you to get your return on your investment. Again, going back to my first point, to treat it like an investment and not a cost. So make sure that you actually set aside a budget every single month or every quarter or every year that you know is going to go towards your ad spend or your marketing budget. Don't look at it as a thinking of, I've got this much left over, I can afford to lose out. The reason I say to not do that, to not just base your marketing budget on what's left over in your business, is because that can bring in inconsistent results. If you know you've got to set aside a certain amount each month, that way you're much more likely to see results a lot faster too. So that's it from me, guys. That's my top tips for setting aside a marketing budget. Also, other things to consider when you're creating a marketing budget is what needs to be the priority. Do you need to get your website set up first of all? Do you need to get your logo sorted out? Do you need to set aside a certain amount for your video marketing? Look at what needs to be a priority and then kind of work backwards from there. Quite often I see a lot of businesses, they start out, or they just started out in their marketing and they're thinking, I need to get everything done all at once. And that's usually not the case. Usually there's like a step-by-step process where they get their website done, then they get their logo designed, or then they get their photos done, and then the video marketing. There's usually a step-by-step process. So define your budget and then define what needs to be a priority for you at that particular point in your business. And if you're sitting there still thinking, well, that's great and all, but I just don't have the money to do all of this, there's a ton of free tools to help you get started. If you want some free resources to help you get started in your video marketing, your websites, logo design, etc., reach out to me. I'm more than happy to send those free resources to you, no obligation at all. The reason I want to do that is because I want to see you guys grow. I want to help you guys. Hey, Ellie, thank you so much for joining. And hey, Ha from LinkedIn. Thanks so much for joining, guys. So that's it, guys. Short summary, short and sweet, of how to create an advertising spend or a marketing spend and the kind of things that you need to consider. So I'm Rahini from Livewire Media. We do corporate videography and video marketing results. If you have a specific question relating to video marketing, feel free to reach out to me or drop a comment in the comment section below and I will answer it for you either privately or we can do a video on it as well. Have an amazing weekend, guys. Hope that helps.